You are entering The Take Up, a place to gather when the film is over. I'm your host, Joshua Ray, and I'm here with my co-hosts. First, we have the managing editor of thetakeup.com. That's Andrew Wyatt. Hello, Andrew.
Hello.
Then we have author and critic Catherine Coldiron. Hello, Catherine.
Hello.
Today, we are processing Follow the Fleet. That's Catherine's pick for the Contemporary Costumes program. First, we've got some films now showing. Finally, we'll have one more thing. Why didn't you two run to see Beetlejuice?
DGAF is the answer.
Right. Okay. I guess I do kind of give a fuck. The very first trailer, I was like, wow, they're really just this whole nostalgia jerk off movie. We're doing it again, and we'll just keep doing it until we all die. And then we get nostalgia about Beetlejuice, and we get Beetlejuice about Beetlejuice. And then the second trailer came out, and there were like fun things in it, like all of the shrunken head office workers named Bob. Like, that's cute and fun. And guess what? In the movie, it's cute and fun. But unfortunately, it's too few and far between. The thing about this, which is the sequel to Beetlejuice, there's a lot of the original Beetlejuice in this one. Everyone's a little bit tired, except for Catherine O'Hara, who is, as you probably expected, the best part of this film. She can take any labored or tossed off line and make it into a moment. I mean, all of this goes without saying. We all know this about her, but she's pretty great in it. There's this whole subplot that shoehorns Monica Bellucci into it because, as it turns out, Monica Bellucci is currently with Tim Burton in the line of Helena Bonham Carter's and Ava Green's. You know, this is the next girlfriend who just gets apart no matter what. Her whole bit is that she's sort of a corpse bride. Anyway, it shows the decades worth of development on screen. And it's really unfortunate because between a lot of that very labored bullshit, there's some fun ideas in it. Particularly that Monica Bellucci plays this like soul snatcher, and they literally call her that, which is a fun little euphemism for some folks out there. But she actually does like suck the soul out of these guys, and I'm not kidding. And they become like balloons that she just deflates really quickly, and their bodies. It's really wild stuff, but it's a lot of fun. Other than that, it's mostly forgettable, which is why you guys probably didn't want to see it, right? You knew. You're smarter than me.
That's not why. For me, it was that I saw Beetlejuice, I think, once when I was young, and then watched it again just a few years ago, and I was like, this movie is a mess. Narratively, and the way that it's cut and pasted together with all these different plot elements and all these different moods, it's like, it's messy. It's interesting as much early Burton is. And visually, it's fascinating. But the hallmark of late Burton is more is more.
Yes.
And I felt very sure that this movie would do that. And I'm not interested in more.
It is a lot more. I actually feel like the structure of the original Beetlejuice is fascinatingly sparse.
I mean, it's a little bit like the Winchester house, right? It's all these staircases to nowhere and bits and pieces shoved together, like Frankenstein-y a little bit.
See, I feel the opposite. I feel like it's very stream of consciousness. It feels like a kid who would tell you this story at bedtime or something and be like, and then this thing happened, and then the Beetlejuice came out, and it feels very that. And I kind of love it for that. This just seemed like, okay, how can we be inventive? Anyway, some more interesting films. Catherine, I saw Red Rooms at the Wisconsin Film Festival when I was there to cover it. I very much did not like it. And I like that I'm seeing a lot of people watching it because I kind of figured it might be a little, art house sensation. Does it fare better with you?
Its pacing is kind of a mess because there are these very long stretches of courtroom drama. They feel meticulous in a frustrating way. And then there are moments when the film picks up so much and is so intense that it's hard to tear your eyes away. That kind of up and downness, it's a little wobbly. However, it is a potent allegory for our times. It's a lot about watching and being watched in a way that doesn't quite penetrate the way that something like Peeping Tom does. It never really implicates the viewer, but it does implicate the main character in this fascinating way. But the kicker was the main character has a screen name, Lady of Shalott. And when I looked up the plot of the epic poem by Tennyson called Lady of Shalott, suddenly the film became something incredibly rich and meaningful. That makes me kind of wish that it invoked that in the title rather than just in the screen name of the main character. It's a fascinating film, especially for those of us who are addicted to true crime. It makes us question kind of why and what we're looking for out of that, but also the way that the internet drags us into ugliness is very much on display in this film. Like I said, I think it's a little long, might not hurt to wait for streaming. Extremely well shot, not a lot of kind of can't see it scenes, which I thought there would be more of them given that it's a murder film. It's Quebecois, this film, so it's in French. I really, 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 really enjoyed it.
I found a lot of the ideas that it's getting close to, that it really only approached those ideas, and a lot of it very plasticky, and therefore I bounced off a lot of it.
Mhm.
I will admit what you just described sounds very interesting, and it does get there, but I did not have that experience with it. I found it mostly tedious and very close to the worst of Mikhail Hanukkah, where it's funny games, someone
Ugh.
like taking my head and forcing me to look at something and then pressing their thumbs in my eyes. Hate.
Oh, the pain. Oh, the suffering. Oh, why did you say that? No.
What, are you such a big fan?
I'm a huge fan of Haneke. Like I,
Gosh.
I love him. I guess you could say this resembles Haneke. I feel like the motivations of the main character are much murkier.
I don't think the filmmaking, the plot, the film itself resembles it. It's the impulses resemble his.
Hmm.
And that's what I bounce off of.
Okay. I agree with you that there are moments of tedium. And the film kind of, because it introduces itself as a courtroom drama, as like a meticulous, long, long stretches of these like single takes.
That first shot in the courtroom is like a
Mhm.
really long take as it kind of pans across and reveals the players
Mhm.
and watches the defense mount their argument.
Mhm.
And eventually you get the person that she's obsessed with, the defendant. It gets really close. And then I've recalled it revealing her in the background. And so that's such a great thesis statement. There's a lot of skillful stuff happening.
Yeah, yeah. The camera's magisterial in many sequences, but to what end is kind of my question. And
Yeah.
and you're right. That first shot, it's broken up. There are some cuts, but it's like 15 minutes of just this courtroom scene. It's a lot, and it kind of teaches you that this film is going to be one way, and then it's not that at all. So anyway, recommended. Maybe make your phone available to look at for the first hour or so.
Andrew, did you look at your phone during The Mother of Lies?
No, I did not.
You're good. You never look at your phone, right?
That's not true.
We never in the movies.
Oh yeah, not in the
No.
movie theater.
No.
Home viewing sometimes. Yeah, Mother of All Lies is a Moroccan documentary directed by a filmmaker named Asma El Mudir. This is her first feature film, depending on how you chronologically parse this and her other recent film, The Postcard. This is her first feature film, and it shot her out of the Moroccan French language and Moroccan filmmaking universe and into a more international spotlight because she was shortlisted for Best Foreign Language Feature at the Oscars last year. This is one of those sort of memoir documentaries where somebody's trying to sort of excavate or interrogate their own history and their family history, which I'm generally like already kind of in the bag for that sort of thing. That's very much my jam. But the methodology here is what's really interesting. Mudir and her father are really interested in like miniatures and model making as a way of sort of trying to figure out something about the history of her family and the history of her country. She and her father created this studio. She lives in Casablanca. Her family lives in Casablanca. And they built this studio like hours and hours outside the city where they built a reproduction of their family block from the 1990s. I don't know what the scale would be. It's all very handcrafted. This is not like traditional dollhouse scale to any kind of standard. This is him and her making stuff by hand however they feel like making it, and down to like wiring lights inside the houses, making
What?
little clay figures of everybody. They're reproducing the entire neighborhood.
That's bananas.
So it's like the replication of the town in Beetlejuice.
Yeah, but on a larger scale.
Catherine, you just got so pissed at me. She just shook her head like, oh my God.
So anyway, so the mother of all lies, the title in Arabic is more closely translated as the white lie. And this is really about the politics of Morocco and how it interfaced with her family, particularly her paternal grandmother, who was kind of like the domineering force in her household. And she's still alive and still kind of like a terror, and everybody's kind of intimidated by her. And when I say not just her family, it's her, like her entire block was terrified of her grandmother, including all the neighbors. She was a royalist, deeply dedicated to Hassan II, who was the king of Morocco at the time, and also a violent authoritarian. I like this film a lot. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds of the history here because the film doesn't actually explain a lot about Moroccan history. This did what I think good documentaries do, which is give me just enough to make me understand the context within the very narrow framework of the film, and then afterwards send me down a Wikipedia hole of learning about the 1981 Casablanca bread riots and the lead years of Hassan II's reign and how that involves the Western Sahara War. There's a lot of avenues, political avenues, that aren't really explained in the film, and I think some people might bump off that if they don't like, who the fuck is this? What are we talking about? I don't know anything about the history of Morocco. I didn't either, but I didn't mind that. It's very much a personal film. And so the fascinating thing is that once Mudir and her father build the city, they bring her mother and her grandmother and their neighbors to the city and show it to them and kind of like film their reactions about what they're seeing and how they've recreated these events. It leads to some very like almost grotesque, cathartic stuff. Like one of her neighbors sort of reenacts his years of imprisonment with some of the models and dolls. It's a very slippery, alternately whimsical and disgusting film. I kind of loved it. It's not yet available on like streaming or video or anything. It's just come out this past weekend in New York City, is my understanding. So we should be seeing some slow creep into more limited venues soon. The title is Mother of All Lies. And again, if you sort of like that personal memoir doc where somebody's sort of trying to investigate their own life and the history of their family, there's a big central mystery in the film about a young neighbor named Fatima, who was about 14 years old and disappeared during the bread riots. And it's conveniently thought that she may have been killed and then her body disappeared by the government. So that becomes sort of a central mystery, but it's all part of this larger question of authoritarianism and then like her grandmother's maybe complicitness, not directly, not like her grandmother was an informant for the government, but her grandmother's enforcement of these very rigid patriarchal values in her household and in the neighborhood was an expression of a larger phenomenon in Moroccan society and how that is still sort of reverberating today. And it's a really charming film. There's also like some just really heartwarming stuff in it. Like just seeing Mudir and her father sitting around being cozy, putting together their little dolls in their basement with the little fairy lights everywhere strung up is kind of cool stuff. Recommended.
On my watch list now.
Yeah, I think we're sold.
Yeah. I mean, alternately whimsical and disgusting is like, okay, all right.
I hesitate to call it an animated film because it's not animated even by stop motion. It's puppetry in the sense that you can see Mudir's hand come in, grab the figure of herself from when she was 12 years old, and move her around like she's on a Sesame Street special. It's animated, but in the like crudest possible definition of animated. It's wild.
Very good. And that's the mother of all lies. Coming soon to somewhere.
I'm hoping it's the kind of film I can see coming to Webster. It has that vibe.
All right, final now showing. I got real bad mom vibes from The Front Room. They're related to Robert Eggers. It's Max and Sam Eggers. And this is their debut feature, starring Brandy Norwood as a semi-newlywed to a white dude, played by a handsome white dude. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Not important.
It's not important. She is a cultural anthropologist and semiotician of sorts. She's an adjunct professor. No, wait, actually, she's an assistant professor. This is the whole thing about it. And she ultimately quits her job as she's about to have a child. At the same time, her husband's estranged father dies, and his wife, who is played by Catherine Hunter, the great Catherine Hunter, who you've probably seen if you've seen Poor Things. She first became a figure in my head from Ethan Coen. Was it Joel Coen? Joel Coen's Macbeth film, in which she played the three witches, all three of them. Yes.
That's the best part of that film.
It is absolutely the best part of that film. Not that it matters, but I think I ended up putting her at top of my list of supporting performances for that year. I just was completely enamored with that performance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what she's better in? She's so fucking fun and funny in this movie, which is interesting because she plays just a raging, rampant, racist, evangelical monster.
Okay.
But the way that she uses her body is she's giving a performance on top of a performance because she comes in and wants to start controlling their lives. But then there are shades of Rosemary's Baby happening here. There are shades of Get Out happening here. And the film ultimately foregoes making a great metaphor of the horror and makes it about the actual horror of being with someone who's like racist and old.
Okay.
And also related to you, apparently.
Well, stepmother. So
Mother-in-law, right? Wouldn't it be mother-in-law?
Be stepmother-in-law.
yeah, it's his stepmother.
Oh God.
It does bring the question of like, how does a single performance, and Brandy Norwood is really great in this too.
Really?
Yes, she's a lot older than we're thinking of when we think of Brandy in our heads. I haven't seen her in a long time, but she's strong. She's funny. She is a really great match for Catherine Hunter in this. But Catherine Hunter takes this film and makes it her own in a way that I like this idea of authorship being taken over or granted by a performance in a film, the body in the frame twisting it into its own and taking possession of it, if you will. I just like thinking about those ideas, and I think maybe that's a good idea for a series, performer as auteur or something like that.
Ooh.
Feels like horror is a particularly good place for that kind of thing to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm also thinking about like Nicole Kidman in Burst does that. Her body in the frame of that film makes it a different film than it would be.
You could almost say that about really anything, is like depending on the shape of the thing is making it into a different shape. But there's something about the absolute command of the camera, even the physicality of the performer pulling the camera into different shapes when it would be the same shape.
I feel like the way Daniel Day-Lewis stalks around There Will Be Blood does something to the shape of There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, or Gangs of New York or anything he's in.
And I'm thinking about Gollum and how that performance dominates Two Towers, but also I've also been watching old John Gilbert films, and like John Gilbert, he knew the camera was there more than any other performer, I think, in that era. He commands the camera in a way nobody would for another like 20 years. It's just amazing to see.
For me, it's probably a film that otherwise would be mid and forgettable, but the filmmakers know what they have in Catherine Hunter, and they know what they have in the script being, thankfully, not this heavy-handed, like red state, blue state, MAGA. It kind of nods to those things occasionally, but it's ultimately a battle between two specific people that therefore you can start reading things into it, and it's not this shaky metaphorical thing. Speaking of two extraordinary people, we've got Catherine's pick, Follow the Fleet, for contemporary costumes. We are promising some high-class patter and genteel dancing. This is our final episode in contemporary costumes. We have picked, along with our guests, films that we wanted to highlight that featured costumes contemporaneous to the film's release. Catherine has picked the Fred and Ginger vehicle, Follow the Fleet, from 1936, directed by Mark Santrich. A gay old time. We'll get into it. Catherine, I hadn't seen this before. I was excited to watch it. I think I've really only seen like the major two, which are Top Hat and Swing Time. But this one has some really fascinating stuff, especially with the costuming going on in it. But what's your relationship to this movie? Had you seen this one before?
Many times. I bought both of the 5-pack DVDs of Fred and Ginger's movies years and years ago and have watched all of them. Some of them multiple times, most of them not. They made 10 films together, 9 of them in the 30s, and then one kind of getting the band back together in the 50s. This is their 5th film together, and the previous year, 1935, they had 2 gigantic box office smash hits for RKO. By now, they were comfortable with each other and comfortable with the box office and how this film would go. I want to say to everyone out there who's never seen an Astaire Rogers movie, if you're gonna only see one, see Swing Time. if you're gonna watch more than one, don't start with Swing Time, because Swing Time is far and away their best film together, and it's also directed by a real live director instead of Mark Sandrich. They actually got somebody good. So it'll set your expectations too high if you watch Swing Time first.
I like the way this film is directed, but I know what you mean. You are meaning to compare George Stevens, which is a dude,
Yeah.
to put a fine pun on it. He's a giant. So I get what you're saying. But I like the direction in this movie.
Mark Sandrich is good, but he does not like Ginger. Like he never liked Ginger personally, so he privileges Fred Astaire significantly, and he directed most of their movies together. So like I'm not dissing Mark Sandrich's skills, but more just kind of how he looked on their interaction.
He's a misogynist, is what you're just saying. Like he's a dick.
I mean, I think he just didn't like Ginger,
Oh, okay.
which happens. Anyway, yeah, this film coming after their previous successes together is important to the costumes, and I'll tell you why. Fred Astaire had established himself as a top hat, white tie, tails kind of character, always very dapper, very turned out. And in this movie, he's a blue collar sailor, chews gum constantly, smokes cigarettes, which he doesn't do in other movies. Like I know the gum bugged you, Josh. The distinction between the gentlemanly character he had played before and this character is very plainly revealed by the costume. So that's why I picked this one. And also because this is the Fred and Ginger that I come back to when I want to watch a Fred and Ginger, and I don't want to use up Swing Time. Like I don't want to watch it so many times that I haven't memorized. I want to just watch a Fred and Ginger, and this is the one.
Andrew, what about you? What's your relationship to Fred and Ginger and Fall of the Fleet specifically?
This is the first time I've ever seen this film. I'm not a huge fan, not because I necessarily don't like them. I just don't have a huge history with them, other than like maybe my grandmother, my mother kind of like liking them and showing me a few films when I was younger that I don't have clear enough memories of to say which ones they were. The one I've definitely seen before is The Gay Divorcee, like actual Fred Ginger canon film that I've seen. I haven't seen Swing Time or Top Hat, lamentably. I've seen some other Astaire films, but none of the other ones with them together, I guess. And I'm not a huge musical guy either. So it's like if I'm looking for movies from the 1930s to watch, I wouldn't necessarily gravitate towards the musicals. But I've always liked what I've seen of them together in films, and particularly like there's something about Astaire's style of dance that's unique to me. Even like among contemporaries, there's something about the way his body moves that's very interesting. So yeah, I enjoyed myself a lot with this. I like the sort of hokiness. You can definitely tell what Kat's saying, that like this is the third outing and everybody sort of knows what they're doing now.
No, there were 2 giant hits the year before with them. This is the 5th one that they're paired.
5th outing? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it feels like a movie where everybody's comfortable with what's going on here, that there is a formula, for lack of a better word, but that everybody knows what they're doing and is both having a good time executing it, but also like doing it with a sort of professional level of precision, which is very nice to see.
I really loved that about this, that you were coming in media res for this relationship between these two people, because in Swing Time and Top Hat, don't they like meet cute at the beginning? And it's all about the kind of misunderstandings of their relationship, to where in this one, it's like, we were together a long time ago. And the way that it is set up, it's so blissfully, it's not quite screwball, because the pace of this is a lot more luxurious.
Well, I'll say this. Their other films tend to operate on misunderstandings and miscommunications in this way that I find obnoxious. If one of them had said a plain sentence to the other one, then the movie would be over. And it just drives me nuts, because just talk to each other. This one, their relationship is so casual, and there's a little sort of backbiting back and forth, the thing with the lieutenant and whatnot. But it's
so lived in.
Yeah,
it's
so much
believable,
more fun than he's actually married. Oh no, he's not. She's actually a countess. Oh no, she's not. It's like, God. But yeah, in the other ones they do meet cute. In this one, they know each other already.
I will say that when Astaire and Rogers first meet on screen, when we get Bake and Sherry reuniting for the first time, and they almost like run into each other. They aren't expecting to see each other. He spies her from the stage, I think, and then they meet up later. There's a great close-up of Rogers' face. She's so overcome with emotion from seeing him after so long. And we know at this point that they had they separated, they went their separate ways. They did like each other, but the marriage proposal never really worked out. There's a great close-up where we just get to linger on Roger's face as she's sort of fighting back tears and trying to maintain her composure and failing. And eventually you see her basically giving up and being okay with letting him see that she's crying. We get the history right there in that close up with her, which is a really nice touch.
Yeah, she's really good in this one.
She's so good. And she's sort of flawless, but I love that they're both these blue collar people who kind of fucking failed. And it's implied that yes, they could be fine on their own, and they're doing fine on their own, but wouldn't we just be so much better together? And it's not settling. It's not this must be the place. It is like just have a better time together.
Yes, well said.
And there's something sweet and uncynical to whereas most romantic comedy sort of run off of that fuel, like a cynical fuel. I think that's the kind of strain that you're picking up on in other films, right, Catherine? Is that why don't they just talk to each other? Then they'd figure it out.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't have a movie. Half of this film is kind of that, though.
It is,
because
though.
there's another pair of Randolph Scott and Harriet Nelson being her sister, who is introduced in the film as
Harriet Nelson being Ginger Rogers' sister, but she is credited as Harriet Hilliard because it was before she was paired with her husband Ozzy. They were married, but she wasn't yet Harriet Nelson.
Okay. I'm looking at the IMDb now, and I didn't even put all of that together by watching the actual film. Like she was billed as something else in it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then Randolph Scott being Fred Astaire's just like buddy in the Navy. And Andrew, your Letterboxd review was just imagine everyone having to pretend 1936 Harriet Nelson isn't a stone cold fox. Even with the fucking glasses and her little school marm get up.
The beginning, Harriet Nelson absolutely does it for me. I'm there for it.
Like, hello, mama. But Randolph Scott being the queen he is like, mama, you are not dressed up. You are not good. Your style, your fashion. This is such a great choice for this program, Catherine, because a lot of this film is predicated on the actual plot device is costuming.
Correct.
It's like, yay, did it.
I did
it. She's in school marm, her typical gear. And she even talks about how she's wearing these glasses because she just wants the kids to respect her. At that moment, I'm like, that's really fucking deep. But then she's got a very low build, and they're not in the film much. Betty Grable and Lucille Ball showing up to make her into a just
a hot potato. Yeah. Because I picked this, I was looking at the gowns a little more closely this time I watched it. And I did notice, even though it's not Adrian, who was kind of the normal costumer for high-class 1930s films, it's some no-name costumer who did the gowns for this movie. They're all very telling. Like Lucille Ball shows up to make over Harriet Nelson, and she's wearing this dress that's like, I know enough about 1930s gowns to know that it's cheap, and it's supposed to make her look cheap.
It is cheap coded. Yes, it is. It's because it's this like plaid pattern that is so ugly.
It's backless. The ruffles look wrong. But then the dress that she puts Harriet in is just way too much.
Yeah.
And all of the gowns that Harriet wears from then on are completely over the top, way too much for her. They're like overly ruffled and feminine, and she wears this black net gown with a sequined bow tie at the front. And it's just, I was looking at it, I was like, I know exactly what I would do to that dress to make it look reasonable.
Well, what about the flowers on the first thing? This just like flower bouquet under her neck, unfortunately, because the rest of it is sleek and chic and elegant. But then she just has this garbage under her neck for no good reason.
Yes.
The costume design is by Bernard Newman. Hello, who are you? He also did Top Hat, but I'm looking through his filmography and it's looking like he's costuming the everyday man.
Sure. But these gowns, I mean, they're right in line with good 1930s costuming.
Mm-hmm.
They look like they could be by Adrian, but they're not. And the thing I wanted to point out about that scene where she gets made over is we've got the two biggest female sitcom stars of the 1950s in that little room by
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
Lucille Ball and Harriet Nelson in 1936. Crazy.
It is pretty wild. It's something I did not know about this film before the credits started rolling, and how beautifully 1936 both of them are. And then by the time they're in the 1950s, they're both like these representations of domesticity.
Yeah, I said to my husband while we were watching it, I was like, alternate universe, Lucille Ball, where she had like a screwball career in movies instead of moving to TV with her husband. Like, oh, I want that.
Yeah.
I want that.
I did not know that Harriet Nilsson had a career before her sitcom career, like in the 30s. For me, this was like seeing Donna Reed in It's a Wonderful Life. It's like, whoa, that's like a sitcom in my brain, my Nick at Night childhood brain. That was like still a sitcom mom, and like now she's showing up in this glamorous dress in this earlier film. I'm like, whoa, what just happened?
And I think she's so good in it too. She's so funny.
yeah.
Like her line readings are so sharp. And she has just this very unique tone of voice and a unique face that she's such a great foil, or not foil, a great partner for Ginger Rogers. I don't know that she's a great partner for Randolph Scott, who is good in this, but like doesn't quite have the twinkle in his eye that this character requires for me to like him.
Yes, he's very hateable
Very.
and not very dateable.
He's garbage.
I mean, there's a reason his name is Bilge. Like,
I would still date him. I would
ugh.
I would still date him. Sorry, he is dateable.
He had a very strong North Carolina accent in his earlier movies, and he's much more understandable now. But like, ugh, I hate him so much. The fact that Harriet Nilsson just sacrifices, she's like Barbara Stanwyck in this movie, just giving up everything for this shitty man who doesn't
Yeah,
deserve it.
exactly.
Early Barbara Stanwyck.
Yeah, early Barbara Stanwyck. Melodrama Barbara Stanwyck.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's like a reversed Arrested Development. It's like him. You're giving it all up for him. You're giving him your shit?
Him? Egg?
Bilge.
I would give everything up for Bilge, and probably more because he is handsome, because he is stupid, because he is mean. I love him, and I also understand the inherent problems in this relationship. It's fine.
Mhm.
What we're saying is Randolph Scott, Cary Grant's boyfriend. So I kind of can't watch anything with Randolph Scott in it without bringing in the very candid photos of the two bachelor roommates, Cary Grant and Randolph Scott, in their swimming pool together. So I think about that a lot. And then I also think about Blazing Saddles, where it's just people yelling, Randolph Scott. I say that as a fan of the renowned pictures, the Bud Bedecker pictures that he took with them.
The more I reach back into the past, the more I'm able to shed both of those cultural influences, but I fully understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So, some things I want to point out about this movie. The scene where Ginger is dancing by herself as an audition, that is the first solo dance number that Ginger got to do in any of their movies. And I thought it was the only one, but it was,
Really?
yeah, she never gets to dance by herself. And part of that is that Astaire is an absolute virtuoso dancer who can do anything, and Ginger is a very good dancer of her time. But the outfit she's wearing is these little fringed shorts that are like totally magnificent, and Hermes Pan and Astaire came up with a routine that perfectly shows off that she's wearing tiny fringed shorts, because she does these like still movements that move the fringe and nothing else, and it's great. It's awesome. I love it.
I nearly texted you two in that scene and said, do you think tap lessons are expensive? Because it never fails. Anytime I watch Fred Astaire dance, Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, and I know what you mean because I've never seen Ginger Rogers doing like musical outside of these things, but it's always like Fred and Ginger, Fred and Ginger. Like she's always just his partner, even though she is such a presence in these films too. I mean, it's about the two of them.
Oh, yeah.
But Fred Astaire in this film, I'm watching even the first dance that they do in the dance contest. How is that possible?
I know.
Me as a fat man, I'm like, how are they so light and like free from the laws of physics?
Mhm.
How do people do that? I don't understand. And it's so great to watch these older musicals. And maybe this is kind of a platitude at this point, but to watch a full shot of people dancing is so fucking thrilling
It's
to
pleasurable.
watch them move their bodies off the air and go tip tap in perfect unison too. It's beautiful.
That's always the hook that will bring me to a musical, whether it's 80 years old or last year. To me, is the choreography is sucks you in and makes you incapable of looking away. Whether it's two people alone, sort of in an open space, or a big, huge number where it's really about the choreography of all those bodies together. The music in this movie is okay. It's
Oh my
I don't like
God.
it.
not great.
It's Irving Berlin.
I don't care.
It's okay.
These songs to me are not. These are not the ones.
Okay, there's one in my notes. I wrote one lyric. I underlined. I said, "Yeah, that's a Tim Rice lyric right there." So they're like timber, limber, and marimber.
That's fucking. It's pretty fucking good. Pretty fucking good.
That's a Sondheim.
Something that amazed me when I started watching Fred and Ginger is that most of their movies include Great American Songbook songs that they introduced.
Right.
Whether it's Cole Porter or Irving Berlin. These are all songs that like Ella Fitzgerald sang, and eventually Michael Bublé would, these songs that we've been singing for decades were introduced by these two. And like, neither of them is a particularly good singer, but they're both very genuine. They're also doing kind of the first interpretations of these songs that would become legendary. Something that I really like in this particular set of songs is that Irving Berlin does the same trick twice in two of the major songs, where he switches from minor key to major key and minor key to major key over and over in Let Yourself Go and Let's Face the Music and Dance. I never get tired of the emotional swing of that.
Andrew and I are like mid. Sorry.
No, for me, okay, so if I'm ranking the things that will bring me to a musical as somebody who's not a huge musical fan,
I don't think you've said that. I think you need to say that a couple more times.
the dance, the lyrics, the music is probably third, if I'm being honest. So I don't know what that makes me, what kind of heathen that makes me, but
It would be hard to not rank the dancing first, no matter what it is. But like
Definitely.
the way you look tonight is.
No, yeah, I mean, this is not Cole Porter in his most genius period.
But you're right.
Yeah.
Let's Face the Music and Dance is still a good song. I'll give that. Diana Krall did Let's Face the Music and Dance, didn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Nat King Cole did one too.
I'm looking at Mark Sandrich's career, in which he did Top Hat, Shall We Dance, Carefree, Gay Divorcee too. So Holiday Inn.
Oh,
I just gotta. This guy's got some real good titles. Can I read you some titles of Mark Sandrich's films just for fun? The Cockeyed Cavaliers. That one's a good one. The Gay 90s, which I went through. A Woman Rebels. One of my favorite genres. So This Is Harris with an exclamation point, which I'm hoping is some sort of sequel to Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Here Come the Waves, but here are my favorite two, okay? Aggie Appleby, Maker of Men. And finally, Hips, Hooray.
That sounds like a fictional film from a Coen Brothers parody of
It
this era.
does. But both of those
Yeah.
sound like absolute trash. Like,
Yeah, I'm not saying that many people have seen these films, according to Letterboxd.
Okay,
but,
so Catherine, can I ask you a question about the costuming here?
Yes.
Am I hallucinating, or is Ginger not in a gown until the final scene? Is that the only time she's in the gown? or
no, she wears a gown when they're at that party.
Oh, that's right. But she doesn't do any singing or dancing in that scene,
No,
right?
no, she doesn't. It's Harriet's song, which is
Oh, there.
a very mediocre song, I'll give you that. She doesn't like her autobiography is fascinating. One of the things that stands out in it is that she describes every fucking dress she ever wore in any movie because she loves dresses.
That's amazing.
It interests
Oh my
me, in
God.
fact, that in this film she only wears two of them. One of them is fine. It's a party dress, and then the other one we can get to.
Amazing.
let's talk about it.
I mean, it's not her most famous dress. Her most famous dress is the ostrich feather thing from the Cheek to Cheek number, which is in Top Hat. And that one has like 18,000 stories associated with it, all of which I know. This last dress in Let's Face the Music and Dance weighed 25 pounds, according to her. because the texture of it is beaded, and that's why it looks that way. It looks like it's heavy polyester spandex, but that didn't exist at the time. The texture of it kind of moving and swinging is because it's just straight up beads from
Oh,
top to tail.
oh, I just got a whole shudder through my body imagining wearing that, but also the poor sound people on this film.
I will tell you too, she had to get used to getting slammed by the skirt every time she spun around
Oh,
and how to
oh,
stand still.
that's
And
amazing.
you can see there's a slow-mo breakdown of it on the DVD. In the first moments of the dance, Astaire is spinning her under his arm, and one of her bell sleeves slaps him in the face. And he said it was like a punch because it's so heavy. And he just kept dancing because that's what you do.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing dress. It's an amazing dress. And it was blue.
Hmm. I bet it was so beautiful and so annoying.
Yes.
Like in person, like I can hear it and it's hurting me. It's hurting my teeth.
She looks incredibly glamorous too. Just like it's a beautifully shaped dress to begin with, and like you say, the texture of it's amazing. But the addition of like the fur shrug or whatever she's got sort of attached to the top is just what makes this incredibly glamorous piece. I love it. Looks great.
Hmm. It's a wonderful dress. But yeah, it's heavy as hell.
I love the very like maritime realness looks in this. They're not Navy uniforms. The flares are exaggerated a little bit.
Only a little.
The poster image, the thing that she's wearing in that's this like wide leg pant up to like a kind of bustier like jacket thing is so good.
Well, her absolutely adorable satin sailor suit that she wears during the dance contest and when she's singing. I love it
Mhm.
so much. And she does wear pants.
Yeah, there's so many cute looks inspired.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like she has some sort of normal suits in the other Astaire Rogers movies, like some tweed suits, one with a capelet. Pants is not the normal fare, so it's interesting to see her in pants as often as you do.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at with my question earlier. It feels like a pantsuit heavy film for her.
Yeah.
Now, I know nothing about men's tailoring. So help me if I'm imagining this. Is Fred Astaire's Navy uniform tailored just a little tighter in his torso than the other
Very
actors to
likely.
sort of just accentuate how lithe and how he
Yeah,
moves?
I would
It just
assume.
looks a touch tighter right through here.
I mean, that was in at the time, was for men to be very trim.
Mhm.
So I would guess yes. And Derek Guy can tell me if I'm wrong about this, but people really like to exaggerate how important Fred Astaire was to fashion in the early 20th century. Like, they have said that he inspired Ralph Lauren to come up with Ralph Lauren's basic suit combo, which I cannot believe is true. But his fashion in his 30s films was significant. So if anyone was going to have a tailored sailor suit, it would be Fred Astaire.
Yeah, I'm just thinking more along the lines if I pause it
Yeah.
and compare him to the other to the all the extras standing around him wearing this allegedly the same uniform. It's just a little more baggy on them.
Yeah.
I totally buy what you're saying though. I have a big book on like men's permanent fashion. It's a cool concept because instead of putting contemporary models in it, it's all vintage photography to
Oh,
explain principles of menswear stuff. And fully half of the book is either Cary Grant or Fred Astaire.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah, nuts.
All right, I'm looking through some some pictures of things now. Okay, I get what he's up to. This whole blue collar, like, Navy guy, swing a potato sack and chomping on my gum. Dude, I wanted to reach through the TV and like stop chomping on your gum. I fucking get it. Like, I don't need that. I understand you're trying to be different, Fred Astaire, but it took me out of the film. And thankfully, it does go away. When I'm like, you don't have to overcorrect this. So you said, Catherine, it's an overcorrection. Like, I get it, Fred. You don't have to overcorrect so far. We really know who you are. You're a fancy boy. You're daddy sailor.
I will note that Astaire was trained on the stage and had, I think, 17 years that he danced with his sister on the stage, something like that, before he made his first
Wow.
movie. So he's kind of rough as an actor in the 30s. He gets much, much, much better by the time of his musicals in the 50s. But like, I'm not a bit surprised that he overclocked that by a lot.
There's something a little vaudevillian about his comic delivery in
Yeah, and
this
the
film.
number when they're rehearsing after I've got all my eggs in one basket, it really is a
Mhm.
vaudeville bit for both of them. And both of them had been in
Mhm.
vaudeville, so it makes perfect sense, but it's just yeah.
It also maybe makes sense internally in the movie because it implies that their like early career may have had
Hmm.
some vaudeville beginnings or something like that.
Yeah.
That clears my notes. What else do you guys have?
Catherine mentioned the idea of like misunderstandings driving the comedy of a lot, like confusion, comedy errors, whatever you want to call it, of earlier of this era. This one doesn't really have like confusion so much as it has like malicious deception. Like there's a lot of like people doing shitty little things to each other to sabotage each other, which I don't know if that's better or worse, like to have people be actively shitty to each other.
I mean, in my calculation, it's better just because it's exhausting to have misunderstandings stretch out across 90 minutes. Like it bugs the shit out of me. I also feel like the crappy things that they do to each other, they match each other. Like it's not like Astaire sabotaging Ginger in her audition is better or worse than her getting him in trouble with the lieutenant.
Right.
Like they're both harming each other's careers. So it's not like she got him really bad and he like flicked her in the nose.
But they both do those things sort of unintentionally,
Yeah.
unless you ask Sigmund Freud. Like, they're not malicious unless maybe you burrow down a little deeply.
Yeah, and the malicious thing that I'm thinking of is when Astaire sets up that entire scene with the horny widow to fuck up her relationship with Randolph Scott. Oh, sorry, she's a horny divorcee. That is him getting Randolph Scott to not be an asshole to Harriet Hilliard. So it's like he's kind of trying to do him good by deceiving him massively.
And don't forget that early on, she's the one who like insinuates herself into
Mhm.
that car ride with Randolph Scott. So she is not innocent. She's a nasty girl.
She is a nasty girl, it's true.
Well, divorcee, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Bad business. Bill, and this goes back to what I just don't like about Bill. It's like I was maybe expecting. So Harriet's character like has this idea in her head that she's built up that when he comes back into port, they're going to have this grand reunion that she's been thinking about. And she's been working on the ship, and she's built it up big in her head that they're going to be a thing when he comes back, and he just simply doesn't show up. And I'm expecting there to be like some sort of explanation for, oh, there was a confusion about it, or maybe there's something with the Navy. He couldn't show up that night. No, it turns out Bill's just a terrible person and
He
stood her
ghosts
up.
her ass.
He goes to sleep with the widow instead.
Yeah, yeah.
Divorcee.
It was almost funny in like how unexpectedly banal it was. Like it was just, oh no, he's just a cad. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, he's a sailor. He's a girl in every port.
I mean, I know we got into things really quickly back then, but come on, she does just fix that boat off of like a night together.
Not even.
It's true.
Honestly, would do the same.
A little off-screen making out occurs, and then next thing you know, a woman's fixing up a boat for you. Jesus Christ.
That's one shot that sticks in my head in this. They must be on a crane or something to do this because it's a high angle shot to reveal them walking towards this boat, like a boat mobile that's hanging in a room. That's kind of like a cute little trick. Other than that, Mark Sandridge is sort of like, okay, let me just follow bodies in a room.
I have to emphasize that Hermes Pan and Astaire worked out their dance numbers to these incredibly specific, meticulous perfectionist degrees. They were always one long shot, if possible, which meant hours and hours and hours and hours. Wide shots. And it's like Astaire had his way for how these dance scenes were shot. So I never consider Mark Sandrich's art when I'm watching the dance scenes, which is maybe not giving him enough credit, but
Oh, it's a fair
rude.
point, though. Yeah.
That is what is called for of a director of that particular shot. Let me watch the bodies, follow the bodies. That's what I want to see.
Exactly. Yep. I mean, Astaire knew what he was doing in terms of shooting dance on film in ways that later directors did not. So that, but also, I just, ugh, I don't want to give any credit to Mark Sandrich.
Honestly, I have his page pulled up and I have a picture of him. I don't want to give him any credit either.
He's no Randolph Scott.
He's no Randolph Scott.
One thing I'll say is that the contemporary criticism of this movie said that it was way too long. I've never felt that way in rewatching it. Every time I watch an Astaire Rogers movie, I want them to start dancing like right now instead of having a scene. So I feel like if the movie does that, it doesn't do it any more or less than a movie that's 90 minutes long. People have also said just cut out the whole Randolph Scott Harriet Hilliard plot and then you have a really awesome movie. And like I mean I guess I like the bounce off of them.
I do too. I like these parallel relationships, and the relationships between the two couples are cool. And that Randolph Scott and Harriet Nelson, I mean, Harriet Nelson has good numbers in it. I know they're just like park and barks, but I still like watching her do it. And I like the Satan get behind me and with the reflect. There's cool shit in there. Yeah, you could cut all of that out, but the sort of hangout vibes of it all is fine. I like watching these people interact.
Totally agree. Yes, there is like a hangout movie feel to it. It doesn't click along.
I don't think it's meant to be sort of an accurate Navy life movie, but I do like the sort of vibes between Bilge and Bake. And like, there's a funny little like side thing where Bake is putting on a thing on the deck of the ship, but they don't hear the reverie to get cleared from the deck. So they end up sort of running into society dowagers or something. Like, it's a nice little bit of comic business, but I don't mind it. I like the interactions between Bake and Bilge in particular, because there's this whole thing about Bake's putting in his time and he's going to get out of the Navy and go back to the entertainment life. He has no desire to sort of claim the career ladder within the Navy, whereas Bilge is trying to become an officer, and we get this little plot development where he takes his exams and then he moves up in the ranks, and now he's Bilge's superior, so it complicates things slightly, but they still have a warm relationship. And of course, it becomes essential to sort of how the whole third act plays out about Bake jumping ship. So I kind of like, is it necessary? No, but it's all sort of good dramatic / comedic business, I think.
Yeah, I agree. If it clipped along any faster, then I think I would not be as happy with it. I do think that the number of I'd rather leave the band has a little sag in it. Like there's places where I wanted it to be faster.
It feels like there's a lot more numbers. Like the number to non-musical parts in this, the ratio might be a little higher. I don't know if because it's a little longer than some of the other films, but I was fully sitting in it the entire time and not thinking, oh, come on. Just the combination of these people is pretty great.
Yeah, totally. The thing that I always say about Astaire Rogers movies is Swing Time is the only film of theirs where I have enough dancing. Like all of the other ones, I'm like, I wanted one more number, maybe two.
Always want to leave them wanting more is something someone once said.
I guess they could add one more number and I would be more satisfied. And this movie, it only has the one formal ballroom number. But the rest of them, there's plenty.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different kinds of dancing, too.
The dance contest is pretty great. And then Astaire has a solo, is it the thing on the deck of the ship? Astaire has a solo bit in the middle that's really fun to watch, where he does some kind of, again, something I wrote down in my notes is, Astaire is so good, he can make sloppy, quote-unquote, mistakes look like genuine, real mistakes. He does these little, like, trip-ups and stuff deliberately, but he makes them look not deliberate. And that's the kind of thing, like, only a virtuoso can do that kind of thing. It's amazing.
Yeah, totally. I mean, one of the things about the dance contest is, like, they look like they're actually having fun, where most of his numbers look like they've been rehearsed to the step. They're so careful. They're so
perfect.
That number looks like they're just, whatever, let's tap a little here, let's ballroom a little here, let's swing a little here. It's so fun.
And you get the little great comedic detail of him being tapped out early at the contest and ignoring it.
Exactly.
Get out of here.
All right. Well, that is Follow the Fleet. That wraps up our contemporary costumes program. We did it.
Great pick, Catherine.
You can watch it on Amazon Prime. Not Prime. You have to rent it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Or probably on TCM. Hey, here's a tangent. I often think about what kind of cinephile and what kind of gay I would be if I had TCM instead of AMC as a child. Yeah. This makes sense? All right.
There's a timeline. There's a timeline.
There's sliding
TCM,
doors.
Josh. There's TCM.
You'd be so much more like obscure and also probably more annoying, I would say.
No,
I was going to say insufferable, but
I had AMC.
Yeah, I know.
TCM is like, I didn't watch this stuff unless they had it at my library. That's why I've only seen now 3 Fred and Ginger movies. If I had TCM, I would have seen all of them.
If I had seen a movie that was made before the year I was born, before I turned 30, say, it was because it was in the VHS, the worn, ratty VHS library of my maternal grandparents who liked old movies and like had their rotating stock. That's probably how I saw my first Fred Astaire film, was somewhere in that stock of movies that they really liked that they just watched over and over and over.
This is not how it was for me at all.
How was it for you? What were your movie watching habits?
My dad, I'm a lot like my dad in a lot of ways. And my dad was very insistent to like, this is what good movies are. We're going to watch this now.
All right.
I taped this and we're going to watch it now. You're going to watch it. And like,
It's homework.
yeah,
It's homework.
yeah. And
I get it. This is revealing a lot.
No comment. He taped shit
Yeah.
all the time, and it's too hard to explain, but he had access to just a tremendous library of movies. Because of that, he taped shit constantly. So we had a million VHS tapes with all kinds of things on them. Everything from old, gorgeous, amazing movies to 90s movies that nobody has thought of in 20 years. So, like, I watched Overboard a jillion times when I was under 10.
I bet we all did. Yeah, but like found it in different ways. Yeah.
Well,
Well, I think there's like a lot of that was Beetlejuice for me. I had Beetlejuice on the original. I had it on VHS or something, and I think Beetlejuice is one of those movies I'd say is probably I've seen it more times. It's in the canon of like 5 movies I've seen more than any other movie because we owned it and I watched it over and over and over and over and had nothing to do with being in love with Winona Ryder, I swear.
All right. We've got one more thing. Every episode we round out with one more thing that's something we've been doing or liking since our previous episode. I'll go first. I have a new obsession. Man, I got the Godzilla Criterion set after sitting on it.
The big Showa era set?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. I got it during the last sale because I'm like, I want that thing. That sounds fun to sit and just watch a bunch of kaiju movies and just, man, how is someone gonna let me get into this rabbit hole? This rabbit hole at 37, almost 38.
Do you need another East Asian cinema rabbit hole?
Exactly.
Really?
Like, who is watching me? Who is watching me do this?
okay, I think we know very clearly that no one is watching.
No one is watching me. This is a
No
problem.
one's going to stop you.
And they won't be able to stop me because I'm me. Anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with them. You know, something that started earnest origin about, you know, the nuclear age and the horrors unleashed in Japan and the terrible things that have happened because of that. And the great movie that Ishiro Honda made, how it turned into these really wild, mostly stupid movies for kids that are stylish and fun and often satirical. There's things in here about new media age that seem very prescient. There's things in here about the corporatization of governments and military that seem prescient. I'm also just having a lot of fun seeing a big crab monster. So let me have my fun.
And a lot of styles too. Like there's
Yeah.
some psychedelic ones. There's
Yeah.
just all kinds of nonsense in that.
I just saw the one where Rodan and Godzilla have to go to space to fight Gojira after having defeated him in the previous film. Whatever, it's fine.
Return of the Astro Monster. Is that it?
Yeah, something about the Astro Monster. But this morning I
Yeah.
finished Ibira, Horrors of the Deep. That's my favorite one so far.
Yeah.
That one was just
The one about the giant lobster.
It was fucking incredible because like Godzilla is so funny in that movie. Not only does he get horny for girl in it, then he defend girl by like throwing rock. So good. It's so good. I also love this little bit about Godzilla, like the tip of his tail being extra sensitive. Like one way to defeat Godzilla is to bite his tail. I just love this little world I've entered, and I'm having a really good time.
You've discovered the Godzilla canon.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh god.
Next thing you know, you're going to be reading the Wikipedia, not Wikipedia, but whatever the official Godzilla Wikipedia is.
The Godzilla wiki.
Yeah.
It's too late. I already
Destroy All Monsters Pedia.
This conversation is explaining to me why my husband is totally baffled about my love and affection for Godzilla. Because I've seen all these movies where he turns into like the hero of the movie
Yeah.
and he hasn't at all.
Yes, he doesn't know that Godzilla has a hero side.
Godzilla is beloved. Like
Right.
I
Yeah.
think like isn't Godzilla if you count up the entire like actual official Japanese canon, isn't Godzilla a majority hero now? Like most of the movies he's
think he
in,
is.
he's the hero.
Yes. Most of those films are available on the Criterion Channel, or when they announced that as Spine 1000 as a Criterion like super fan from very early days, like the line Criterion DVDs, not the Wacky C. Okay, team.
I have the box set of Brazil.
Oh, so you've got the line with the like opaque case and all that. Yeah, you can watch them on Criterion Channel. There are a lot of other films by Ishiro Honda on the Criterion Channel right now, which I dug into a couple of them. A lot of them are pretty fun. Yeah, I'm Joshua Rain, Crispy Retinas across social media. Find my reviews on KMOV, KDHX, The Take Up, some other places. Catherine, what about you? What you got?
I am extremely excited that Tarsum Singh's The Fall is going to be on streaming starting at the end of September.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, it's going to be on Mubi. And any of us who have subscribed to Mubi know that their output is a little up and down. I mean, they've got some obscure Von Trier, but they've also got a whole lot of nothing. So,
Oh, now Mubi's great. No. Mubi
Okay.
has so much good shit on it. I'm gonna fight you over Mubi.
you can. I can just say I ran out of stuff to watch on Mubi after I think 3 months of subscription.
Wow.
In any event, The Fall is coming in 4K to Mubi at the end of September, and I am so excited because if it didn't have such an anything kind of name, I would tell people it was my favorite movie when they asked. It is one of the great movies about early Hollywood. It is probably one of the last movies we'll ever see that does stunning stuff with practical effects instead of digital.
And on location shooting too.
Yep. Lee Pace is an entire sexuality in it. I mean, unmissable, glorious.
One of the great child performances, I think, of the 21st century, for my money.
That's very kind of you. I wouldn't agree. It is a glorious film, not to be missed.
Very good.
Oh, and you can find me at katecoldiron.com, Fairy Frigida on Twitter and on Letterboxd. And Andrew didn't put his one more thing in the show notes, so I want to know what it is.
Oh, okay. Wow, a terrible transition for me there. Sorry about that.
Andrew, what about you?
I'm going to be a little bit self-promoting on this one.
Hell yeah.
I've been busy this week. I don't have anything else to talk about. I'm going to promote something that I'm involved in, which is a new DVD release from Synapse Films, which is a low-budget / grindhouse / cult film imprint.
They do such great work.
Yeah, they like 10 years ago they were a completely different identity, and they've really spent the last like 10 years building out their Arrow Video style bona fides and producing some great releases.
Look, I just purchased their out of print limited edition 4 Flies on Gray Velvet
Yeah, they do a lot of Argento.
for an exorbitant amount of money off eBay.
That's on Criterion right now, too.
Yeah, but I want that 4K disc, baby.
They're doing a lot of Argento. They have a great new version of Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. But the reason I want to highlight them is they also do a lot of really obscure like films that don't get releases otherwise, very small indie horror films and that kind of thing. They recently released, as in just this week, a 2 DVD set of 2 films by a local regional filmmaker here in Missouri, Blake Eckhart. He does these super micro budget, super independent rural neo-noir films, and they're releasing 2 of his better films, I think, Bubba Moonface and Coyotes Kill for Fun, which I think were both from the 2010s, on kind of like a double DVD. It's the first time any of his films ever gotten his home video release, but I've known Blake for about 15 years now, and I've talked about his work a lot. And about 8 years ago, when he was first getting into talks with Synapse about doing this release, he asked me to do the liner notes for him. So lo and behold, this little DVD release does in fact have liner notes by me. You can also read those on The Take Up, Synapse graciously allowed me to hold on to the copyright to my own liner notes.
Ooh.
I also republished the whole thing on the site this week. The liner notes aren't necessarily geared toward these two films specifically. They're more of a, here's an introduction to this filmmaker kind of thing, where I sort of go through all of his features to date and talk about what makes him a unique filmmaker. I've always really enjoyed his work. He's sort of a brave filmmaker who tries different things stylistically with every movie he does. All of his films are kind of like disgusting rural neo-noirs about terrible people doing terrible things, but each one is unique stylistically. Each one, he's trying something different. He's been making movies since he was literally in high school. His first feature film was shot when he was like 18 years old, I believe, with just like his friends. And it's an amazing Coen-esque, Sam Raimi style, like fiasco crime movie. It's great stuff. I highly recommend you check out the two features that Synapse picked to publish are actually really excellent. I do think they're probably some of his best work. So I do encourage you to check it out. It's only $20 right now, and some great regional. We don't really get a lot of like regional filmmaking breaking out into the mainstream, obviously. Blake's a pretty great talent and has been completely uncompromising in like the 20 plus years he's been making movies now. So I was privileged that he came and asked me to do it, and I was privileged to do it. So highly recommend it.
Incredible. I'm now busy. I'm gonna buy a copy of it, and I'm now busy. Unless you have like a secret stash.
I did not get a SPAC, no.
I'm just filling a cart to get to free shipping. All right, on the next episode, we will start adult animation. It might have a different title because that makes it sound like we're going to talk about a bunch of pictures of boobies. And the first film that we're going to do is my pick for the program. That is the Hungarian film Son of the White Mare, which had a recent restoration. It's been around online. There's a Blu-ray. It's on Canopy right now. This movie is wild. I hope people, when you watch it, maybe partake in an illicit substance. I don't know. If you want, I don't need it because I'm high on the Son of the White Mare. So we will start that in a couple weeks. And until then, you can find all of us at the Take Up STL and the take-up.com. I want to thank Kayla McCullough for social media. Jessica Pierce with some help with editing, music by AMP. And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make.
Or something.
Something like that.